Welcome to another Backyard Professor video. I'm Kerry Schertz, the Backyard Professor. In the really remarkable publication, the Journal of Book of Mormon Studies, for the year 2000, Volume 9, Number 1, three good and dear friends of mine, John Twetnus, the ancient Near Eastern scholar, John Gee, the LDS Egyptologist, and Matt Roper, the Mesoamerican scholar, wrote a really stunning article that I want to share some of the highlights with. The name of their article is on pages 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Pretty big article. Book of Mormon names attested in ancient Hebrew inscriptions. I remember when I first read this article, it completely stunned me 8 years ago. I just recently reread it, and it still stuns me, especially in light of this argument by the critics that there is no archaeological proof, no historical proof, no linguistic proof, no cultural proof, no proof of any kind for the Book of Mormon. I'm going to just summarize their article. They go into the details. They actually show the Hebrew inscriptions in the Old Hebrew lettering and discuss the significance of the etymology and the various scholars who have attested these Hebrew names. The name Sariah has been discovered in the Elephantine papyri. Now, this was the wife of Lehi. She is now a bona fide Hebrew name of a real person named Sariah. Ancient Jewish women were named that name. The Elephantine Jews, of course, were those Jews who escaped the destruction of Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon, 600 BC, and they ran down to Egypt. Interestingly, it was those Jews who asked permission from Jerusalem to build a temple like the temple in Jerusalem, only not as large. Same thing Nephi did when he got in the New World, isn't it? Sariah has been discovered. There's one Hebrew Book of Mormon name that's not in the Bible. The other name, of course, is Alma, which I've touched on. But Twetnus, Gee, and Roper show that in addition to Alma and Sariah, a number of other Nephite names are attested in ancient Hebrew inscriptions. These include the names Ahah, Ammonihah, Chemish, Haggith, Himni, Isabel, Jeram, Josh, Luram, Mathoni, Mathonihah, Mulekai, and Sam. None of these appear in our English Bibles. Absolutely none of them. They're all in the Book of Mormon, and they've all been attested in Hebrew inscriptions discovered archaeologically. I think it's fascinating that there are so many different types of names that have been discovered now. The patristic names in the Book of Mormon, a feature in the Book of Mormon that's unknown in the Old Testament is the naming of a son after a father. We have Alma, the son of Alma. We have Helaman, the son of Helaman. We have Nephi, the son of Nephi. We have Pahoran, the son of Pahoran. Until recently, these patristic types of names were unattested in the ancient Near East. Now we have an inscription showing that there was an Elikon or an Elkanah, the son of Elikon. So this patristic feature of the proper names in the Book of Mormon, it's now attested archaeologically and historically. The one part I want to get to, they describe in detail every one of these names, Haggith, Chemish, Himni, so on and so forth. The Hebrew inscriptions were found anywhere from 1100 BC all the way down to 500 BC, and they're found in Jerusalem and the surrounding area of Jerusalem. The interesting thing about this is that, I want to get to this because it's so good. Oh, I hope I can find it. I just recently read this article. They have pictures. They're discovered on Bullae. I don't know if you can see that or not. Bullae are seals, seal impressions, wax impressions that were put together to seal the letters. Oh, I hope I can find this. I'm going to be very angry if I can't find this. Okay, see what a little research does for you? I found it. Hugh Nibley showed William F. Albright, who was the greatest biblical archaeologist of his day. He showed him the Book of Mormon names. Here's what William F. Albright said. Explaining in a letter He was explaining that he was a Protestant, so he wasn't a believer in the Book of Mormon. But he observed, it is all the more surprising that there are two Egyptian names, Paanchi and Pahoran, which appear in the Book of Mormon in close connection with a reference to the original language being Reformed Egyptian. Puzzled at the existence of such names in an obscure book published by Joseph Smith in 1830, Albright assumed it was just his religious genius. But one of the Anti-Mormon critics was incensed by this impression that Albright left. He wrote another letter to another archaeologist, and he said, Albright, though a Protestant, he writes of the Book of Mormon like it had authentic Hebrew support. Hebrew and Egyptian support. He even offered me what he said were two good Egyptian names in the Book of Mormon, Paanchi and Paoran. Well, certainly Albright would know Joseph Smith didn't understand Egyptian, but why would he leave an impression that Joseph Smith was on the right track? Why indeed would he leave that impression? Because the blunt, hard, cruel fact is that Joseph Smith is on the right track. In fact, since Joseph Smith's day, we have had further and further and further archaeological discoveries that show even more of these wildly supposed imaginary fantasy names that Joseph Smith simply pulled out of the hat. Oh no. These names belong to real people, in real history, in real places. They appear at the right time, and, interestingly enough, in the right places to have been in the Book of Mormon, because that was the original culture of the Book of Mormon, the Hebrew and the Egyptian mix, as Nephi said. What this shows to me is that this isn't an almost, this isn't a, well, man, that's kind of close. It's not even a maybe. This is a direct archaeological discovery that has archaeological, historical, linguistic, cultural, and even political implications in favor of the Book of Mormon. So this argument, the Book of Mormon has no archaeological proof for it, no historical veracity, no linguistic potential or possibilities or realities, that argument is simply false.